All right, welcome to the Changeover podcast. This is the weekly grind. We're here with our guest Keegan Smith. Keegan, thank you for coming on. UCLA legend, NCAA champ. Evan, you have some words for your former teammate?
Yeah, we played together at UCLA. I mean, great guy on and off the court. Barely lost any matches in college, so yeah, it was great to have him on the team.
What's Mexico like, boys?
I mean, I've been to Mexico, honestly, a bunch of times. I grew up in San Diego, so I've played men's opens in Tijuana, Cali. What is it, Cali, Mexico? No, I'm tripping. Calexico. It's called Calexico.
Okay.
So, yeah, this is my first time in Xalapa, and, man, it is it's different. It's a small village. But tennis is huge here. It was my first day here, but
You missed it yesterday. First round qualies, full crowd. Like I would say,
packed.
yeah, packed. I would say
Yeah.
we have a picture of it. Maybe we'll show it on Instagram or YouTube or whatever. But like full crowd for first
Yeah.
round qualies. You don't see that often at Futures. It's cool.
Yeah, I mean, in Mexico, actually, tennis is huge. They love it. All the men's opens I played were like packed with people, ton of money, and you even see it in Acapulco, like the ATPs.
Yeah.
They're all packed. They make it more of an event.
Yeah, it's cool because like here they have like a lot of. It's like I guess the club itself is a pretty popular club. It looks like it's always busy, packed, and there's like kids asking for autographs and stuff. It's not that
Yeah.
common to see that at Futures. You know, it's
No,
kind of nice.
definitely. It is, yeah. I mean, it's feels refreshing because
Yeah.
I mean, I know you guys know as well as I do the amount of work we put in. It's nice to get some love.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, this is our livelihood at some point, and this is what we've been doing since we're 5 or 6. So, feels good to get some recognition, even though we're still on the come up.
Yeah, exactly. Thoughts on the altitude? You like it?
Yeah, I love it. I'm 6'7", so raining down serves from up there from the heavens is it only helps with some altitude. Yeah, it's nice, and the courts are fast. They're using regular balls sometimes
that's
in
interesting.
altitude. They use like depressurized or whatever.
Usually they use those, but this week it seems as if they're using just the regular
The
balls.
normal
We've been
balls,
practicing
yeah.
with regular balls,
Yeah.
so which
Yeah.
makes the ball even fly even more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm pumped about it. I switched back to my old bat too. I've been using the H22, which viewers who maybe don't know, that's painted as a Wilson blade, but rumor told it's like a old.
It's an old racket that they made apparently for players that used the Radical back in the day, switching to Wilson. So it's
Yeah.
it's supposed to be like that.
Yeah.
Rumor has it that Evan's trying to get his hands on a few himself.
Rumor has it. Yeah.
Okay, let's we have a video to react to. If my computer would cooperate with me. This is from Alafia yesterday against what I keep forgetting who they played.
Stanford?
Stanford, yeah.
Who's he
NCAA's.
playing?
I don't
You the
know.
player? Little forehand return. Grabs the heart out of him. Fellow San Diegan too. Shout out Lafayette Yanni.
We watched this video like 10 times yesterday. Unbelievable video. We thought it'd be funny to show it to you because you obviously have your fair share of celebrations too.
Of course, you got to.
Let's show which was the one that we wanted to show.
There it was back.
The
to
one
the
on
right.
YouTube, yeah.
That clip came from who? This clip came from Players on Instagram. That's where we saw it first. I think probably Alafia or someone shared it, and they were kind enough. I think they're also a podcast and an Instagram page and stuff,
really?
and they were kind enough to share it with us. So they were excited to hear what we had to say about the about the video. Which was the one that we were supposed to show? Was it this
Right
one?
there, yeah.
Yeah.
This was my freshman year at college. Semifinals indoors. Match point.
Was it almost shirt off? Is that what was about to happen?
I don't know, man. That's just pure emotions. I didn't plan any of that. I knew my serve was in.
We had a question from Adi on Instagram. Asked, what was it like to play college tennis? We talked a little bit before, I guess, on the last run. But what do you guys think? How was it at UCLA? And I guess what's the difference between, how you operated playing college tennis and now on the pro tour?
I loved college tennis. I mean, right when I got there was a bit of like a hierarchy. We had Martin Redlicky, a really good senior. We had Austin Rapp. We had Logan Staggs. Those are some guys that were kind of showing me the ropes of college tennis, how to operate as a young kid. And I loved the atmosphere. I mean, we all got along super well. We had Evan there, Max Cressy, who's now 40 in the world. Legend Billy Martin coaching us, and that was our best year. I loved it though. We all got along really well, which I think helped our success that year. We got to the finals, the indoors, and we got to the semis, the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
We lost to that.
How many years were
team
you guys
Ohio
on team
State.
together for?
We were just on the team together for 1 year.
Just 1 year, yeah.
Just 1 year. But yeah, everyone got along well, and I feel like everyone was motivated for our goals and our purpose that we had. So I feel like
Definitely.
we were pretty like together as a team and what we wanted to achieve and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was great.
Yeah, we were all on the same page and worked pretty hard, and a lot of the guys were really talented. So it was special for
And
me
also
to be on
fun,
that
right?
team.
Like what you were describing before. Like
So fun, yeah, so fun. I mean, we're just having fun. Go out to Rocco's on a big Thursday after a win. Have a huge match on next week against Stanford or something, and we're so hyped. I mean, just great energy before the match, getting pumped up. We all have each other's backs. I mean, that's one thing it's different now on the professional tour. It's kind of like you got to find that motivation, that inner beast that will bring you to win. Because I think I was talking to Evan about this earlier. Like, we all have the level. I mean, sure, there's some scrub out there who, maybe can't hit a forehand or something that doesn't have the level, even if he has the mental fortitude. But I think once you get to a certain level, like, we all have what it takes. But what separates, the top is that mental, like, that strength, that presence, that belief. And it can be hard, you finish college, you had everything mapped out for you, and then it's like, okay, now you got to do it yourself. Now you got to win for yourself. It can be tough. It's a lot of weeks on tour, sometimes by yourself.
I think the motivation is a lot more self-motivated than looking to your brothers and getting some inspiration from your team. Even during a match too, like now maybe we have 1 or 2 people that we know watching our matches if we're lucky sometimes on the Futures Tour, versus in college, you have 5 of your brothers playing next to you. You can look across, like give each other encouragement, that sort of stuff. And like even the experiences that you guys go through as a team, like you don't have, like now maybe it's individual experiences, but then in college you go through these experiences as a team. That you did well this day or you didn't do well this day and stuff. You can draw back on experiences from each other and not learn from each other.
Definitely.
And not just learn from yourself. So, and I think like you missed it actually the last 3 days. So we've been here for what, 2 days and 3 days. Yeah. And since we've been here, we practiced and stuff and got prepared, but we spent hours just sitting in this room going over hypotheticals and going over like motivation and reasons for motivation and where we see each other and like see like ourselves in a few years and stuff. And that's kind of some of the stuff that you touched on is kind of what we talked about even up to this morning at 7 a.m., 7:30 a.m. We're talking about these things. So I feel like I agree that the mental side is huge, and I was kind of questioning Evan and Justin this morning, asking them like about capabilities and like, I guess,
like how much effect the mental actually has on your game.
And how fast is it to just change into this, because Evan had quite a rise after a little bit of a mental change at the beginning of last year, and he moved up a lot of spots in, I would say, 5-6 months. He moved up what 400 or 500 spots, which is pretty fast, and he did it without the help of wildcards and stuff. So it was all
Yeah.
self-earned. Like he had to win all of those matches. So I was kind of
Definitely.
questioning Justin Evan and seeing if it's just a switch that you just, as soon as you understand it and you decide like, boom, I'm gonna do it, versus if it's like trained behavior and you have to like practice that every day, you know?
Yeah. I mean, this is something I'd love to talk about because it's something I'm starting to get passionate about, actually. But I think even on a deeper level, like we all have like infinite power as humans. And I think, I mean, I've heard it before. I'm sure you guys have heard it before. Like we're only using what, like 20% of our brain.
Okay.
I mean, we have like the capability to really do like whatever we want in our lives. And I know that sounds like, oh yeah, sure, but like we really do. Like our brains, like our capabilities of humans are like, there's nothing that we can't do. And I think like you're the only one that's gonna stop that.
That's gonna limit yourself. Yeah.
From- Like if you put that energy out there and you believe in that, like it can change your whole life. I mean, it's true. You see all these people talk about it. I know Bianca Andreescu talked about it before she won the U.S. Open. She would write down, I'm going to win the U.S. Open in her journal like every day. And she started, visualizing that, manifesting that, and it happened. I mean, it's like I said before, we have what it takes. Like, it's just starting to believe and putting that energy into good. I mean, especially in tennis, like you could play someone who's way better than you or way worse than you, and it usually comes down to like you look back 2 or 3 points maybe.
Yeah.
Like whoever's more present, whoever believes in themselves, whoever wants it more is going to win the match. Like it's not even like a question to me. So this is my second year on tour, and there's been some times where I've been down in the dumps. Can I do this? Do I have what it takes? These guys have been on tour. They played juniors. I went to college. I'm 25 now, blah, 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 all that bullshit. But I'm starting to realize that there's no limits. And that's not even with tennis. That's like, I'm going on a tangent.
How long
right
did it
now,
take
but
you to realize this about this, I guess this mindset? Did you have it at the beginning when you first started on tour, or?
So before I played my first tournament, I was just like, I had no doubt in my mind, like, I'm going to make it. Like, oh, like, this is going to be easy. It was almost like the other side. I was like, oh, I'm going to make it for sure. This is easy. Like, I have the level. Like, this is going to be awesome. And then actually I won my first tournament on tour. Since I turned pro, I won a 15K. And I think that definitely attributed to that. My thoughts of my belief in myself and all that stuff definitely helped me win that tournament. And I came back from an injury, so I was just also happy to be on court. But then it kind of came to maybe like a stagnant where I was ranked a certain ranking. I was playing challengers, and I was like, damn, like this is getting kind of tough. Like I lost some matches that I maybe could have won, and I started having some doubts in my mind. And that's when things kind of started going bad. I started losing a lot, losing some confidence. And I think that's the main thing, honestly. Like,
So how is it now? Like so you said you've been on tour for what, 2 years?
yeah.
So you had
on
this
2
little
years.
up and down, you had some success winning a futures title, and you were playing some challenges. You had a little bit
Yeah.
of a dip. Where do you see yourself like right now? How's it been, I guess, the last few months?
So I took some time off at this end of last year. I finished all my tournaments. I went back home. I got to see my friends. I got to see my family. And that really helped me like kind of recharge a little bit. And then I went to my first tournament in Thailand kind of with the mindset like, oh, like whatever happens, happens. Like I'm just kind of happy to be here now. I wasn't as nervous. I was just kind of playing. And I got a good win there. And I played a few tournaments, and I got injured, so I've been out for a couple months now. But, yeah, I mean, I definitely need to tap back into that because, like I said, it's so powerful. I know Evan was talking something about superminds. Can you
Masterminds?
tell,
Yeah,
Masterminds,
we talked about
that?
this a lot when we were. Where were we? In Colombia. We were playing challengers in Colombia.
Yeah.
And we're just talking about like basically what Keegan said, like visualizing the belief, the unwavering belief, and like influencing your subconscious and stuff like that. Because you have to feel and like act like who you think or who you want to be.
Yeah.
So I feel like, and for me as well, when I started doing a lot better at the beginning of last year, I think most, if not all, of that was mental.
Yeah.
100% mental. So, yeah, like what you said, I think it's probably one of the most important things. I mean, your game will improve, you'll work on your stuff.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the mental there, I think it's very, very difficult. Yeah.
Evan said something interesting this morning. And we were having this discussion about the mental side of tennis and whatnot. And I guess from the discussion, we were saying, like, if it's just a decision that you make, you know, that you're going to have a good attitude, if you're going to commit to the decision that you make every day, you wake up and you commit to this decision. And I guess I was of the opinion that the longer you do something like this, the easier it becomes, like, to make this decision. But Evan was, why I didn't see it is the opposite, you know?
Yeah. I actually thought, like,
why don't you share your experience? Like, kind of give them a little rundown of how it went.
Beginning of last year and the end of the year before that, I wasn't playing too well. This was like kind of after COVID. I was really struggling. And then me and Justin, actually, we were at the same tournament. And I just had a tough loss. Wasn't really sure about myself, really. And we were just talking a lot. And we started talking about, like, manifesting and belief and, like, visualizing and seeing yourself as the person that you want to be. I started reading a book as well, Think and Grow Rich. That's more about business and stuff, but I think it can be applied to any aspect of your life, which I applied it to tennis. And I thought, and the week later, I finaled a 15K where I was not getting far in any 15Ks before that for the previous couple months. So I feel like, and Justin had mentioned, I had looked like a different person, just night and day, like something just switched. And I think that led to my big jump in ranking as well. Purely just the mental side. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about, like, how, I guess the perspective that I had this morning, what I thought was that the more you, because I was saying that part of it is like trained mindset, trained behavior. And so my opinion was that the longer you do something like this with a good mentality, is the easier it will be. But everyone was saying it's probably the opposite. It's like it wears on you the longer. Like, the longer you commit to doing it the right way, it's probably harder to do that, you know, because you experience more, like, bad days and that sort of stuff. And those are days that you especially have to commit to the belief and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I think, for me, I think, especially that first week, it felt easy. You know, it's just like I changed. Like, I'm doing this, and it's great. I'm playing much better. I'm getting way better results. But I feel like as time went on, circumstances change, pressures change, your expectations change for yourself, how you feel about your game changes. And I think it does take a lot of mental energy. For me, it takes a lot of mental energy to keep that up, because, and I think it is like that. If it was easy, everyone would do it, you know?
Yeah.
But I just think over time things change, and for me it's harder over time, I thought, because of all the different factors that come in. But I think that's what the top guys do so well. I mean, they're like that pretty much the whole year, maybe like 2 bad matches a year or something.
I mean, you guys were teammates with Maki and I guess Cressy as well. How are they?
Yeah.
Do they see it that way as well, you think?
Well, I mean, I agree with Evan on this one, because, like, what's gonna happen, what's gonna change is your ability. Like, you training, that's a given. Of course, if you want to be a professional tennis player, you're gonna be in the gym, you're gonna be stretching, you're gonna be training. That is all physical, but I think it is a switch. You need to decide. Am I going to make it? Am I not going to make it? Like, I mean, you're 6'6"?
6'5".
I'm sure, I mean, I've seen you play a couple times, not too many times, but I'm sure you're very athletic. Like, you have what it takes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you just need to believe, and you need to turn that switch, like, wake up tomorrow and be like, yeah, I'm going to win this match. Start visualizing. Something that I've started doing just within the past week this is why I was like so gung-ho about it, is meditating. And wow. I mean, this has been something that's been studied and used in human history for like years. I mean, Buddhism, that's kind of where it started from, sitting and breathing, deep breathing. But it has helped me with my mental like flow of just how I feel in general too. Like, I just feel like there's so many thoughts running around in your brain, especially in a big match. Like, if you're nervous, is my dad watching? Is my coach watching?
That's why they talk about how important.
Like,
that's why they talk about flow, right? Like, when you get into the flow state, you're almost like, we had a mental coach that used to talk about like seeing images or seeing in video. You don't really see it with words, and when you're in flow, you're not really thinking with words. You're just kind of seeing what's happening, and there's not really much going on in the brain, right? Like, that's like kind of what you were just referring to.
Exactly. When you're meditating, you're coming back to your breath. So it was hard for me at first, like to even sit down and just be still. I mean, I know a lot of my friends, I'm sure Evan will let you know, I definitely like, have a lot of energy. I'm always like all over the place, like very possible that I have ADHD. Like, so in the beginning, it was hard for me just to sit still. But, as you start going back to the breath, you start feeling this like energy, and it's kind of cool because it's bigger than you, like this whole life. And like, that's kind of what I was trying to get at, like getting all motivating, like you can do whatever you want, because you really can. Like, we're blessed to be here, we're so blessed to be able to live this life, and like, but it's bigger than us. So when I started meditating, I started realizing that, like, wow, like it's not just about me. It's, there's something else going on here, but it kind of grounds you. Someone you guys should have on is Max Cressy, because you asked about him.
Into that, yeah.
Huge into meditation, huge into visualizing. I mean,
yeah, we were. I mean, I was roommates with Cressy for both my years at UCLA.
Yeah.
And sometimes randomly, I'd just wake up and he's just sitting there, like cross-legged, meditating. That's what I wake up to. And he's big into like pretty much manifesting, like saying, putting it out into the universe what you want.
I mean, it's clearly worked for him, right? Because
yeah.
I mean, when he was your teammate at UCLA, what was he playing on the team? Your guys this year?
So, I mean, before I was even on the team, the guys would joke about Cressy. Oh, Cressy can't make a forehand. He's like literally like shanking the ball into the court before it touches the net. Like, literally couldn't even swing the bat. Like, couldn't connect with one forehand. Then I come onto the team. I start that year playing 3. He's playing 6. You could tell he was talented, had a good serve, had like really crisp volleys. He's 40 in the world now. I mean, come on, you think that's not mental?
Yeah. I'm sure his game has improved a little bit, like serve and return and whatnot, like his approach game and that sort of stuff. But I would assume that majority of it has to be with how strong he was mentally. And like, I mean, what I've heard about him was that he never lacked confidence. He never lacked belief. He was almost, I don't want to say brainwashed, but it was like so committed and so like determined that he was going to be who he is that like you couldn't.
Just happens.
Yeah, like he's not fazed by any of the other stuff,
Yeah, I truly believe like what you think and what you want in this life, like what you think happens. Like the universe like brings it. And he was saying it so much that it was almost like wacky, like I'm gonna win Wimbledon, I'm gonna win US Open, and we're like, dude, all right, like let's just win this like match against St. Mary's. But, I mean, I'm really proud of him. He's got a good soul, and but with that being said, he also put the work in. The work is like, that's just the minimum.
Yeah.
Like a given, yeah.
Yeah, you have to, you know. But the other mental stuff, I'm just kind of starting to understand it, and it's really cool for me to kind of.
It's interesting because I've seen like videos and pictures, and I hear how you talk, and you don't really expect this side of you, like that you, I guess, study and like.
Well, yeah, no, me neither. I mean, no, for real. Like, this is something that I just like kind of came across because Cressy would talk about it and be like, bro, come on. Like, he's like, let's visualize us winning NCAAs. I'm like, dude, like, I practice. Like, I kind of had like a different type of confidence in college and like sometimes in pros too. Like, where it was just like, yeah, like I'm just going to win. Like, it wasn't like I had to like think about it too much. I just had like a stupid confidence where I was just like, fuck it. Like, yeah, I can do it. But it's been helping me in other aspects of my life. I see up here, we're going to talk about it a little bit, but I had a brain injury. So that came with a lot of, you know, anxiety, depression, things that I hadn't, you know, ever gone through in my life. And it was crippling at times, you know, really tough to get out of bed or just, you know, see the bright side of things. So meditation for me is something that has really changed like how I feel and think about life. And this is just like literally within the past like week I started doing it, and it started like helping me so much.
So we should look out this week for the come up, the big come up.
No, I visualized this week already. For 20 minutes straight, I like thought about the crowd. I tried to feel myself in the court.
Yeah.
You know, I tried to think of a break point, what I was thinking, how I was feeling. I visualized playing. For some reason, I knew Ernesto was going to be here, so I started like thinking about him. I was playing him in the semis. I started getting tired.
That's
I'm like
extremely specific, you know, playing the semis.
Yeah. Well, they say online, like the more specific, like the auditory, the visual, the sensory, all those things, the more detail you get, the more it becomes real.
Yeah.
So I did that for 20 minutes. Literally played like a lot of the match, like in my head, and like.
How was the level?
Oh, I was playing sick. I mean, that's what you got to do. You got to, if you're visualizing the perfect stroke, you don't want to visualize like you like stumbling to a backhand and like shanking it across. You want to visualize, you know, locked in on your legs, swinging freely cross, like the perfect stroke. And I swear, like I went to practice that day and I was playing like way better. I swear. Like it felt like after I opened my eyes, like I had already practiced that day. Like it was the weirdest thing. Yeah, and then I practiced that day and I was like, God, like I'm playing so much better. Yeah. Because there's studies on it. Like viewers can look it up. Like the visualizing and actually practicing.
Your subconscious can't tell.
They can't tell the difference. It's the same as like, as you're dreaming. Your brain thinks it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So if you visualize yourself practicing, you'll get almost the same results as if you actually are practicing, because your brain goes back to the most reset factory. Like, so if you're going to hit a backhand, if you're always kind of like pulling off on it, your brain's going to think to pull off. But if you train yourself to think, I'm going to step in, I'm going to lock my eyes on the ball, I'm going to keep my head still, and I'm going to swing with my arms, like no tension, then you're going to start doing that. It's just like, it's crazy. Yeah. I mean,
no, I believe in that one stuff 100%. Yeah. I think it's.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people, you know, think it might sound weird, including me just a couple years ago, but I just urge anyone who doesn't even play tennis or maybe doesn't even want to do it to help themselves, just try meditating, close your eyes. Try it for like 5 minutes.
It's crazy hard to do.
How you feel?
Like I remember I was doing it during COVID a little bit, and I would do it like how you described, like everything was perfect. So I would do it to the point where I'm like watching the flight of the ball, like the shape of the ball spin in the air, where it bounces, until it like hits the back fence. Yeah. You know, and I would do it on like, let's say, serves. So if I'm doing it like serving deuce T, I would do 5 to 10 serves, and I'm watching myself like perfect form going up, hitting the serve, watching the ball come down, like and I'm trying to feel, I guess, how I would feel in the serve. Like, I don't know. It was during
weird,
COVID, so
huh?
I can't tell you how much it affected me, like when I was doing it. But I guess the point I was making is how hard it is to do, because
Yeah.
a serve, how long does it take you to get to the line, like bounce the ball and serve? It'll take 5 seconds to do. But when I
Yeah.
visualize it, it's taking 10, 15, 20 seconds to visualize the perfect
Yeah.
serve, you know, because you don't do it in like fast motion,
Yeah.
I guess. So
I think it's like anything. Like I said, like for me, it was hard at first to even sit still.
so easily distracted.
Yeah, so easily distracted. I mean, we're living in a world right now where you're like 1 second away from seeing what your ex-girlfriend's doing with her family
We don't do that.
at Thanksgiving.
We never do that, right?
I mean, social media is a trap. But what I'm saying is that just adds to the thoughts.
Yeah.
But it's just a practice. The more you do it, the more comfortable you feel, and you start getting better at it. It starts getting easier, and it's just fun. Like, it's just a time for you to sit and also like understand and kind of like sift through what has happened in the day, or kind of like in, you know, if you do it in the morning, maybe what had happened the day before, or what you know, or at night, like, because if you're just always going through your day, like doing things all the time, like hanging out with people, like everyone needs some time.
Yeah,
you know,
maybe you're not reflecting and learning from the experiences you had.
and just sit and with darkness, and you know, that stuff is it's just a gift that I'm really grateful actually that I found.
We touched a little bit before on the accident. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Just kind of
Yeah,
talk us through what happened a little bit, and
yeah,
if that changed your perspective on, I guess, tennis and life and that sort of stuff.
definitely did. I was skateboarding down a hill on Gailey Avenue. Any UCLA knowers or goers know that long, you know, downhill. I had been skateboarding since I was young, so it wasn't anything new to me. And I just fell. I don't know how. I completely lost consciousness. I woke up in the ICU, the ER, and my first memory was I was like throwing up. I felt so bad, and I was like, oh, I must have fell on my skateboard. Like, I remembered like what song I was listening to, everything. Yeah, I suffered a brain injury. I fractured my skull. I had a blood clot right here. Let's see, brain swelling, you know, a moderate traumatic brain injury is what they call it. And that's like one of the leading causes of death. And even the third day, they gave me some, you know, blood thinner because they wanted to get this to start going into my arteries because there was a blood clot right here. Blood wasn't going into my heart. And they gave me the blood thinner. And then this side of my brain started bleeding. So it got pretty scary for a second. The doctor said, you know, I definitely could have died then. And I even felt that. So it was...
You were feeling physically like the pain in these...
No, I just had like the worst headache you could think of. Just like the splitting headache. Like, couldn't even look into the light. Couldn't hear anything. My back felt like my whole body was just toasted. Like, I felt so bad. And it was just tough, you know, like mentally to get through that. So right when I got out of the hospital, I just had like a sense of gratitude towards life. I would wake up, I'd be like, oh, I can't believe I'm alive. Like,
how long were you in the hospital for?
10 days.
Okay.
In the ICU. And I was just so happy to be alive. I didn't care about, you know, if I could get back to tennis yet. I was just happy, like, wow, like, thank God I'm out of that hospital. Thank God I'm alive. But with brain injuries, what happens is it kind of like changes your chemistry in your brain, makes neurons not shoot to other neurons. So a lot of times people with brain injuries can deal with depression, anxiety, all sorts of, you know, mental issues like that I had never been. I know, you know, Evan knows me in college. I was just a happy kid, you know, always happy, you know, not ever worried about the future, not ever stressed that much. Like I was just, go with the flow. So it was really hard for me. I started, getting really depressed, started like hating myself sometimes, and it was tough, so it's gotten better. It's been a couple years, so I've had, therapy, and the meditation is helping, and support from my family and friends, stuff like that is helping a lot. But there was definitely some dark times, and but I think that's just it's just kind of a part of my journey.
Yeah.
And I think it's also kind of a cool thing to kind of check myself and say, hey, this life isn't, guaranteed. Waking
It puts
up.
some things in perspective, right? Like,
Definitely.
I guess results, and that's some of the stuff that people place a lot of value on. I mean, since you had an experience like that, it makes you, I guess, realize that some of these issues that people put a lot of value on, it's not as big as they make it out to be,
Yeah. I mean, that's, I think, everything in life. People, especially in social media, want to make it look like their life is better, but I mean, no one's life is better than the one's. Shout out J. Cole. Love yours. No life is better than yours. So,
do you want to, we were supposed to pull up your Instagram. I'm sure we'll show it on the screen, but do you want to talk us through what's going on here? Like, we'll show you this video. And first of all, this is from US Open, right? And
yeah.
you got this wildcard because you won NCAAs? Is that
No.
what this is from?
No, I just got a wild card. I got lucky from the USTA. They called my coach, Bo Trays, at the time, and offered it to me with Nick Monroe.
Yeah.
It was his last tournament as a player, so they paired us up. We had never played together. We got a couple of days of practice before the tournament, but this was this was 6-all in the tiebreak. And this goes to show. Got the overhead. I run up to net, stick a volley. He floats it up. Get that shit out of here. This just goes to show, though, the mental belief. There wasn't a, maybe a little doubt, but I wanted this match really bad. Yeah. I needed that cash. I needed that money. Give me
Love
some
the
love.
high five, yeah.
But that just goes to show. I mean, especially when you're telling yourself, I'm gonna win this match, this is my match, you start pushing towards that, and it you guys know what I mean? Like, it's not like even a question. Like, if you go into the match like, oh, like, look at these guys, like, they're so good, it's 5-all, that creeps into your brain.
Yeah.
But when you're, oh, I need to win this, I want to win this, like, I'm gonna win this, 5-all, that creeps in, that's gonna push over.
Exactly.
You know,
I had that same
energy.
I had that same experience in practice. I think it was maybe the end of last year. Probably the end of last year. I was training, and my coach was pretty frustrated with me because I'm playing someone 400 or 500 in practice. I don't want to call a name, but I'm playing him in practice. I win the first, and I think maybe I'm up a break in the second. And in my mind, I'm thinking, because I put too much respect on the opponent, so I'm thinking, okay, this guy's ranked a couple hundred spots higher than me, so he's going to fight back into this match, So it's like kind of like what you were saying, like I put too much respect and too much, I guess, it wasn't even doubting myself. It was more like I expected them to do better, and it doesn't have to be that way. Like, I was playing better on the day. I'm up a set in the break. I have the momentum. There's no reason for me to not just close this match out, whole serve 1 or 2 more times. I don't remember what the score was, but it happened a few times where I've done this like once or twice in practice, and my coach was saying, like, you don't deserve to have this mentality. Like, you work just as hard, if not harder, than a lot of these guys. You have maybe more weapons than these guys, so there's no reason for you to self-doubt. It's kind of like what you were saying here. You're playing guys ranked higher than you in the U.S. Open, and you have to try not to idolize them and put too much respect on their side of the net.
I think that's the biggest flip, the switch that will help you succeed. That people, they turn pro and they start, giving all these guys respect. I mean, they're just guys, you know, they wipe their ass too. Like they're not they're not anything different. They're the same as you. And once you realize that, and once you start like giving yourself the respect that you deserve and start playing with that belief, I think it'll change. And I think I'm happy we're talking about this, because I think this is a discussion that's huge, you know, that sometimes people, I almost think it's like the opposite. I don't know if you guys agree, but like a lot of times in the futures or challengers, guys are like, oh, it's so tough.
Yeah.
These guys are so good. Like, cry me a river. Like, you have to be confident. And like, if you surround yourself with people like that, like it can, you know, seep into you. And I've been, you know, I've said stuff like that too. So I'm not saying I'm this holy guy, but like, it's so huge.
Yeah, and speaking on like that energy of like you feel like this is your match and stuff, there's one quote, who was it, Cooper Kupp, after the Super Bowl, that maybe people would see this video and just like blow it off, like what's he talking about? But there was one interview after the Rams won the Super Bowl. Cooper Kupp, I'm pretty sure it was Cooper Kupp, had said that was it the previous year when they lost or something? Yeah, but something along the lines of he had this vision that they won the Super Bowl and he was gonna walk off the field as MVP, and something hit him. He doesn't know what, and he had this vision. He saw everything happening the way it was, and he said in the Super Bowl that day he felt like he was playing from victory, not for victory. Like he had already won. So he was playing free, and just whatever was gonna happen, and they were gonna win.
This was your big quote last year, huh?
From victory, not for victory.
That's a visualization, though.
Yeah.
What he's talking about is him visualizing it. So he had, in his brain, had already done it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we can maybe go to a next.
All right, you want to answer this one question?
You guys get the point.
Yeah. We have, how long have we been going for? Let me see if we can look and see how long. We're going for like 40 minutes. Okay. Let's do one question. Yeah, it's a deep podcast. Let's do one question and we can roll out. We have Sarah
Believe
asked,
in yourself, young man. You can do anything.
Sarah asked, can I sponsor Keegan, but he can only use the money on bucket hats?
I don't know how she had even like heard the bucket hats, because I love bucket hats. Like I wore them when I was in high school, and even
So bucket hats is actually a thing.
It used to be, yeah. Like I wanted it to. I won this tournament in Boston, and New Balance had sponsored it, and they like the guy that had done like he was designing the clothes, like saw me wear the bucket hat, the Fila bucket hat, and they tried to make one.
Oh,
They're
no
like,
way.
yeah, he was
Sick.
so pumped. He's like, oh, the bucket hat is sick. Like, we got to get that into tennis.
You saw me in Dominican in the bucket, you were like, sick hat, bro.
Oh, really? Yeah, I love the bucket. Shout out Schoolboy Q. Who else we got? Yeah, the bucket's a vibe. Sarah, I need some extra cash, so.
So is it yes to
I'll
that?
give you my Venmo, yeah, for sure.
All right. Is there anything else you want to cover before we roll? Any questions for us, Keegan? Anything you want to talk about?
Yeah.
Oh, we have a video. One more video you want to watch? Let's look at this one. So what's the score? Let's look at the score here. We have UCLA, Stanford, 1-0.
We had lost to them early in the year, so this was
deep in the cut.
yeah, we wanted this one bad.
Let's see what's going on
This is
here.
my freshman year. Like we're talking, we got Billy Martin. The forehand's looking crazy. I had to hit that.
Wow, that's too funny.
I almost hit him with the LeBron too.
You would say, was it this run or was it on the run that the camera died last time that you said something about the difference in celebrating now? Like it was easier for you to like let loose in college than it is now,
Just
right?
because I felt like the competition, like the juices, like there were no judgments. Like I feel like in college, like we were just like guys. Like, I don't know. Like, we're in college. Like, it's team versus team. Like, there's no like bad feelings. Like, I mean, guys were like hooking. Guys are like doing anything to win. Like, they're like ripping commands in your face. I remember me and John McNally had like the craziest like stare down for like 2 minutes at the fucking at the what do you call it, water break. Like, we're just staring at each other. First one to break. Like, it was just stuff like that. Like, that was just fun for me. Like, because I grew up in a competitive family, so I thrived in that stuff. Then once I went pro, you know, you see the guys off court, you're kind of friends with them. Like, you kind of feel like, I don't know. And they're just kind of like, they take it so personal.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I mean, I got to get back into that. Start
Do you
hitting
think? Do you think they should?
after I win.
Do you think pro tennis should have like what they were saying, like you can make noise, like fans can make noise and walk around and
Yes.
stuff? Do
I
you prefer it like that, or you think it needs to be quiet and stuff?
Well, I mean, at the U.S. Open, I've heard even at the French, it's like the fans get into it huge. Australia, the fans are crazy. That's what makes tennis fun for me. Like, my favorite thing when I was younger, me and my dad always used to go watch college tennis because the fans get into it, the players get into it. It's like you're competing. It's one-on-one. Like, why? Like, when has it turned into some, like, sportsman? I know it's like, you know, it's came from a, you know, white collar or whatever, like rich sport,
Like
I guess.
gentleman's game.
Yeah. But like, it's not fun like that. And it's not actually how it is. 'Cause you can be all gentlemen. Yeah, good shot. But I guarantee you the top guys, they're not thinking that. They're thinking, fuck you. They're thinking, this is my court. They're thinking, I want to win this. Sure, they might show you something differently, but I think tennis would be a lot more enjoyable to watch if it was a little bit more like, I mean, they advertise it, they market it like, who do you think's going to have a breakout year this year? Oh, well, my friend is going to win. It's like, I don't know. Maybe it's
a little
how
more
it
rowdy.
is.
You want it a little more.
Yeah, I wanna
The
see
most fun I had
more
was I
emotions.
played Jesse at Davis Cup, and he was playing for Costa Rica in Costa Rica, and we had like kids front row blowing like the
Those loud
the
horns.
loud horns like in my face. Like, when I go to get a towel, it's like we're this close and they're blowing it, like 5 of them, like right there. Like, that's the most fun I had. Like, and it wasn't even that many people in the stadium, but like going
Yeah.
crazy for Jesse. And Jesse's like diving, doing his splits and all this crazy stuff that he does, you know?
Yeah, no, that's fun. That's how it should be. I mean, it's a one-on-one sport. It's competitive, and I think, I mean, that's just my.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why most people, I feel like, talk so fondly about college tennis, because the energy is just, it's definitely different. I mean, the
different, yeah.
crowd is way into it. Like, it
Yeah.
gets rowdy, and that's what makes it like, that's what makes it fun in my
Yeah.
opinion as well. Yeah.
And I think it would also like propel tennis, because tennis is like a fan-based, like, oh, Nadal's my favorite. So imagine, you know, Nadal's your favorite and Fed's your favorite. Imagine the crowds are like clashing. Imagine like a basketball team or like a hockey team.
Yeah.
You think Boston Red Sox fans are going to the Yankees and saying, hey, man, good luck? No, they're getting fights in the stands.
Yeah.
Like, they're like huge for their team. So like, imagine you're huge for Nadal, like getting rowdy after every point. Like, that in my mind would be, I mean, people used to love Johnny
Makes the
McEnroe.
atmosphere so much fun, so much more
Yeah.
fun.
Who's that guy? People used to hate him. Old guy, not Johnny Mac. He has
Jimmy Connors?
Yeah, Connors. They
Yeah,
used to
Jimmy.
hate Connors.
He used to hit big sillies on him.
Yeah, huge sellers. But yeah, I got one question for you guys. Like, what's motivating you guys, you know, to stay on the grind, and what joy do you find in the lifestyle of tennis, and what makes you keep coming back? Like, what's that thing, or what's maybe those multiple things that, you know, really call you to do this? And
You
'cause
missed this morning's discussion, huh?
Yeah, we talked
Literally, we
about
talked about for
as
2 hours this
Really?
morning.
It's not an easy lifestyle. I mean, you miss your family. a lot of travels, a lot of times away from loved ones. It's a lonely lifestyle, and it can be hard on your mental health. So what is it like for you guys?
I think a big one, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, is money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just being successful, making a lot of money.
The idea of
The idea of like success and everything that comes with that. I also feel like we've put in so many hours into this, so much time, so much energy, that I feel like I'm not obligated, but I feel like it's something that's meant for me. I'm meant to be great. At least I feel like I'm meant to do something in this sport. So I think that feeling, and I mean, it's just been a goal. So I think, and it does get hard with the travel. I mean, it's not always to the places you want to go to, and even if it is to a really nice place, you might not have time to explore the city or like do something fun there. So you say you went somewhere like sick, but like you were at the courts, back to your hotel room, at the courts, back, and then straight to the airport, like some tough flight to get to the next tournament. Yeah. So I think it's just always the vision of what the future could be for you.
Yeah, I think that's the same. It's like one of the questions I asked the guys this morning was like, where do they see themselves when they're 40 years old? Like at the end of the career, when the playing part of tennis is done, you know. And that's kind of what excites me, is that like I like the idea of, you know, being a family man and like being able to give my family the experiences that I think they deserve. So having, you know, my family living in a comfortable house, comfortable situation, being able to, you know, have my children go to the school that we feel is best, you know, go on family vacations or whatever. So I'm motivated by that idea. So, it's kind of tough because tennis is a sport where, you know, I don't know if you watched the episode last week. We talked about like a little bit of the money breakdown and how much people make, but only the top make enough to make a living. So that's also partly why we started this podcast too, for a few reasons, just because obviously it will help us with our costs. Like hopefully this business generates some income to help us offset some of the costs to pay for travel, food, coaches, physio, whatever it is that we need to pay. But also just to, I guess, my personal goal on it would be to like raise the status of people at the lower ranks, like people in the challenges and futures, because like you talked about before, and we said before the cameras got on, like how good of tennis players this level is. Like these fans that are out here watching this week, they don't know any of us. They watched first round qualies yesterday, full crowd clapping, cheering. So I was like asking the guys, like, you know, how could this club maximize the product that we have this week? You know, there's so many people coming out to watch. Like there's obviously a tennis community in a lot of these cities in Mexico and around the world. So why wouldn't, like, how would we maximize our product to help us generate more income and support ourselves, so that we don't have to think about what flights we have to take and this sort of stuff, like how we have to eat. You know, if we can afford going to the physio this week or we can't. Like, do we afford fitness this week or we can't? Can we have a coach on the road or we can't? So that's, I went on like a rant here, but that's kind of all the things that I think about when I think about like the future.
I think you guys might agree with me on this too. It's not just the money, because at first, you know, those things that I would think about, you know, the fame, the money, the whatever, you know, the things that come with being a famous athlete. But I think, and you guys might agree with me on this, but it's the pursuit of perfection, the pursuit of getting better, the pursuit of, you know, giving it your all and becoming better in your sport and improving. Because when you improve and when you get that sense of, wow, I just hit that shot, I didn't have that before, I got that win, there's something about it that makes living a little more enjoyable, because you have such a deep purpose and you think about it all the time. And I also think it's that winning feeling. It's that feeling you get. It's that drug. You just feel like, you get that big win. You feel like you're the man. You're walking around a supermarket. Yes, you know what it is.
In the supermarket, when no one knows who you are and what you just done.
Yeah, no one knows who the hell you are. I mean, People don't even know who Novak Djokovic is in the U.S. It's sad, but I think it's that, because I think I could easily, I mean, with your guys' work ethic, you could get a job that could pay way more.
Of course.
Right. So I think it's deeper than that. I think it's that competition, and it's that like pursuit of how good can I get. And like you said, when I'm 40 with my family and my friends, telling them, and that feeling, man, I really went for it. And that was a pretty cool thing. And the people I met and the experiences I had, like, you can't get that from going to a sales job and selling some guy on a, Honda Civic.
Don't knock a Honda Civic. That's what I drive, bro. Come on now.
The Toyota Avalon, man. 1995.
True. That sounds similar to what Justin was saying this morning. Like from a little kid, he from early. I don't want to speak for Justin, but he was saying this morning that he has an image of how his career is supposed to go, how he wants his career to go and stuff, and it's more like relentless that he's gonna work towards that.
Yeah.
And maybe some of the other things follow, but it's like what you're saying. Because I agree that if we stop playing tennis right now and we chose a different career path, if we're smart enough, most of the time, because of our work ethic and how disciplined we have to be, we're probably better off financially in the short term.
Yeah. Definitely.
Which is why I think part of me is not that panicked, because I think I learned a lot and I have a lot of knowledge about certain aspects that if I, God forbid that I can't play tennis tomorrow, I can do something else and I'll be all right. You know what I mean? So I agree that there's another sense of like motivation than just financial.
Yeah.
All right, yo. Anything else?
No, I really enjoyed that. And maybe it wasn't as goofy as I intended. I got that meditation life.
Yeah, you're much more serious now,
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Yeah, Keegan's a good friend. I mean, one of the funniest guys on tour. And, just great guy all around.
Yeah. No, it's going to be a fun 2 weeks, like having, our boys around, Keegan, Josh, Zeke, like people that we're comfortable with, a good attitude. So it'll be a fun 2 weeks. Thank you for coming on.
Of course,
and we'll have you on anytime that you want to jump on. Just let us know. We'll have you on whenever.
I was looking forward to it. I saw you guys on Instagram. I thought you guys were funny. Smash that like button.
Exactly. And I mean, we don't have that many followers on Instagram right now, but feel free to follow. Keegan will have his Instagram somewhere on the screen, I think, or below. So feel free to follow him. But yeah, thanks for coming. And everybody, thanks for watching. Give us a follow, like, and subscribe. And we will see you next week.